Wow, she starts looking like a car, doesn't she? Yeah, hi guys, welcome to the Rusty Beauty's Garage, and today we're gonna continue working on our 1970 TR6, which is getting closer and closer to being complete, which is super exciting for me. In the last few episodes we installed windshield, we installed bumpers, we installed some stuff in the engine bay. However, the inside of the car still doesn't look like a car, still looks like a project. So I think in this episode we're gonna start assembling the interior, which means we need to install the trim here in the back, vinyl, maybe not the door cards, because for the door cards we wanna wrap the top of the doors in the vinyl, and then install the weather strips on top, and only then we can put the door cards. But at least we can do carpet and maybe start assembling under the dash. Then we're gonna have even the interior look more complete, and it's gonna be little things after that. There's lots of little things that we still need to do, but I'd like to do all the big stuff. I'm just anxious to see her looking complete at least. Then we're gonna take care of the little things one by one. So without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking. Okay, before I start putting too much stuff inside, I wanted to install the rails for the seats and make sure that all the holes are there and there's no snapped bolts inside, because after that through the carpet it's gonna be much harder. So here I didn't pay attention before John installed the kill mat, whatever this is called, and I don't remember if I had all the holes, if the nuts were there, because they're nuts that are welded to the floor underneath. So now I started poking from underneath, but the thing is, some of the holes end up right above the frame, and I believe this one has a hole on the frame that you can poke through from the bottom. So it turned out that here this hole was welded actually, but there was no nut. All the other ones were there. I found them, I ran a tap through them. Here, after I had all the three other bolts in place, then I just drilled a hole here, and luckily I have access here underneath, so I can put a washer and a nut, and that's how it's going to be held. Now there's few important things here to know about the seat rails. There are no left and right ones, they're all the same. As you can see here, the handle is on the right, and there the handle is on the right as well. But the holes on the floor are not square. The distance between the front and the rear one on the outer side towards the seal is shorter than on that side. I have no idea why that is, but for this reason you have two holes in the back here, you see, and there as well, because when you use this frame on the right you need shorter distance here and longer there, but when you use it on the left you need the shorter distance there and the longer here. So as you can see there, on the outside the bolt is in the front hole, on the inside the bolt is on the rear hole, and same here. The inside is on the rear, the outside is on the front. So this is important to know. And the other thing important to know that many people miss is that there are spacers between the rail and the floor, and this is to allow for the carpet. Otherwise, if you tighten it down to the floor, when you have the carpet there, the carpet is gonna bind and you're not gonna be able to slide. So that's all. They don't look very square, I know, but that's how they are. They are tilted a little bit towards the inside. Dun, dun, dun. We also have a roll bar. And I took the seat rails out, but we're gonna do the same thing with the roll bar. I wanna position it, drill the holes so we don't struggle with that when we have carpet in place. So I don't know what's underneath here. I'm gonna put it in the air and I'm gonna try to figure out, but I'm assuming that there shouldn't be anything because it's made for TR6, right? Now, I always say that the right thing to do here is to mount it to the frame somehow, but this one is designed to be mounted just to the sheet metal, so we're gonna fabricate big plates for underneath, I guess, so it is as solid as possible. But like, even if we use huge bolts and whatever, we're mounting it to sheet metal, right? So a structure is as strong as its weakest point. Doesn't matter how many strong things you add to it, as long as it has one weak spot, that's where it's gonna snap, right? And here, sheet metal is the weak spot. Okay, so it turns out we are landing. I don't know if you can see very well where we are. This is the shelf, and we're landing right in front of that bracket. So somebody put some thought in it when they designed it. So there's two holes on that wall, and there's two holes on top. They land above the frame, but there's lots of room here above the frame, so that's good. And the rear ones end up somewhere there. So I'm gonna lower the car, and I'm just gonna drill the holes, make sure that everything is prepared, and we're gonna go from there. Okay, so I used self tappers just to run through the holes and hold it in place, and some of them I didn't even tighten all the way. But now I have enough information. I can take out all the bolts. There are 2, 4, 6, 8 and 8, 16 bolts. So I'm assuming it's gonna be solid with 8 pairs of bolts. So I'm gonna take it out now, and I'm gonna drill bigger holes, and then we can start maybe the vinyl on the wheel wells. Okay, so the first part that we want to wrap is the wheel well. And here is the vinyl piece that came with the kit. I think this is the other side. This should be this side, okay, so something like that. Now, we have to figure out where exactly we want the piping to be. But before we start with the vinyl, we're gonna have to do something about all these lines here that appear. So that's from where John joined the sound deadening, which he did a good job. There's nothing better that we could do there. They sell you with the kit this sandable foam that you can install and then sand it a little bit to smoothen, but unfortunately it's been sitting at the bottom of the box creased like that, and these creases are now impossible to get rid of. So I'm afraid that might actually create more trouble than help. I don't know, maybe I should just try and hammer this down. I don't know if that's gonna actually help. Let me try. John went with a roller all over the place. He smoothened it as much as he could, but still. Yeah, that actually is better. That's much better. This actually acts as a clay, you know? Metal is clay, as Ray Shellin keeps saying. Sound deadening is clay too. Okay, that's not bad, but this is definitely gonna make it worse. Well, the crease here is down there. Actually, this goes down, and there's another strip that goes on top. So this comes on top like that. It's not good. We use that in the Limus a lot, but I don't have any. I know very well, and John knows, that these creases are not gonna go away. So we better go without them. We have to decide about this seam allowance, whether we want it this way or this way. I think this is better. Is this better or this? For sure it needs to go one side, it can't go both sides. I think it's better if we put it up like this. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's one way to find out if the glue is gonna stick, right? We're gonna use this Gorilla Spray Adhesive Heavy Duty. I don't have much of it, but I'm gonna have to go out soon for something else, so I'm gonna buy more. I know it's gonna stick, but the problem here is that I'm gonna have to pull a lot to get rid of the wrinkles, and that's when we're gonna have trouble, but let's see. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry a little bit and become tacky, which it already is actually, because it's hot. Today is hot, so I'm gonna try to put the piping along the edge here, which it's not really an edge, but so did we say that? Yeah, we said this way, right? Okay, let's start like this. It actually sticks, I think. So we're gonna start with the piping first. So we're gonna flip it inside out, and we're gonna try to put the piping down. Actually works pretty well. I don't have another guide other than maintaining pretty much the same distance to the wall here. So now let's try to get rid of these wrinkles here, and then we're gonna flip this up. So I'm gonna pull down. I'm gonna have to make a cut here, but I don't wanna cut it yet until I'm sure that I have enough material to cover everything. This here we can keep, just maybe shorten it a little. We don't need so much. And now actually I'm gonna move you so I can take a better place. Just making sure there's no wrinkles here before I glue the rest of it that direction. This doesn't look too bad. I mean, I was expecting it to look worse, and I think it's good. Okay, so that worked well. I'm gonna install the other one on this side, and then we're gonna continue with the rest. Okay, so next we're gonna install these, or at least we're gonna put them in place. So they didn't finish wrapping it here, and I think I'm gonna have to wrap it because this is where this hook here comes for. What is this hook for? I don't know. The seat belt? I don't think it is. Maybe it is. But for now, I just want this put in place. I don't have the screws that hold it. I have a few. So I think I'm just gonna put one here into this hole, just so it can stay in place, and I can continue with the other trim. I'm gonna do the same on the other side, and we can do the carpet, and then I can buy screws and fasten it better. Plus we might need to remove it again to wrap this gusset here. Okay, so both sides are in, with just one screw for now. And I also put this rear piece here, and that side looks not too bad. Of course, we're gonna hide this vinyl somehow, and when this goes here, the height is just perfect. The other side though won't go further down, and this is how much higher it is, and it doesn't matter how much I press, it won't go down because it hits here. And when I compare it to the other side, look where the corner is, just below the line. Here it is ½ inch below the line. So we're gonna need to peel this vinyl from the back here, cut this corner and lower it here. But I'm gonna do that when we have the carpet, because the carpet goes before this piece. I just wanted to pre-fit it. So I think it's time to start with the carpet. Okay, starting with the carpet, we need to start with this piece. Like, I feel again like that other day when everything I started, I hit a dead end. Unfortunately, this piece is missing. So this carpet is homemade. I mean, somebody made it for John, and he gave them an old carpet, and they used it as a pattern, and they made this carpet for him. However, somehow this piece got missed, and I don't have any carpet now left that I can use. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue it up to here. From here down, I'm gonna leave this part open because that other piece goes first. So at least I can cover this down, so then I can continue with the rest on the side here. And hopefully John has leftover pieces of carpet that he can give me to use. If not, we're gonna have to buy some. Okay, so this is glued partially. It's a little bit too narrow here on both sides, and I don't like it, but it is what it is. So now let's take this out again. And the trim kit comes with a piece to wrap the B-post, a plywood gasket that fits inside here, so we can wrap it and then wrap the vinyl around to wrap it on the outside, and then we can put the inner seal piece of the carpet. So for this reason, I'm gonna pull this gasket off for now. I don't know how I'm gonna work without being in your way. So first of all, let's spray this with glue. Now I ran out of glue and I have to go to the store, but I found this spray adhesive Trimtex 847C, and that apparently works as well. I'm just gonna hold it. So let's spray it all the way to the edge of the flange here, because we're gonna glue the vinyl on it. Overspraying glue everywhere, but we're gonna clean it. We're gonna wrap here, and then the piece that we just removed is gonna cover it. So after this slip on this direction, it's not so important, but it's good to have it. Here's the piece of vinyl that comes on top, so I'm just gonna spray it with glue as well. Okay, we're gonna give it 2 minutes to dry, and in the meantime, this is the gasket that comes with the kit. So that goes inside here, and we have this piece of vinyl that goes over it, wraps it on both sides. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it like this, and we're gonna wrap it like this, and we're gonna leave the left of the vinyl hanging. Then we're gonna put it here, and we're gonna wrap the vinyl on the other side. So let me spray this. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry a little bit as well. Now let's continue with this piece. So we're gonna start from where the lip ends. Like this is covered here, right? All the way to here. So there's not such a big deal. Okay, so if you wrapped something before and you remember, in the corners it's really hard when you wrap one side and you wrap the other side, and you always have a cut here and you wish that you had something to grab and pull it and make it nice in the corner. Well, you can leave something like that. So that's how I do it. I pull this little lip first, I glue it in, and then I can glue the rest like that. See? And now you have nice finished corner here without a cut. So now we're gonna spray glue on here and on the outside. Maybe I'm gonna spray a little bit on the back of the vinyl here and here in the corner. Not there. Oh my god, that's not what I meant. Okay, we're gonna clean this later. I have actually this industry cleaner adhesive glue remover. It works really well. See, it's gone. Okay, so now let's shove this inside. Okay, and now we can pull here, glue the top end, then we can flip it around the edge, and this needs to go inside, of course, not over this lip. It needs to go inside. Here we have this groove, so I'm gonna tuck it in, and now we can cut it more or less. That gives us an idea where it needs to be cut. I'm too lazy to go grab my plastic stick. That's the best way to do it, with a plastic stick. And then the gasket goes over this lip and it's gonna look great. Okay, back on the other side. All right, in the carpet kit we have this piece, which is for the inner seal, and it has this piece of vinyl stitched to it, and the vinyl is for here to wrap around the lip and then gets pinched with the gasket. Here we have to start something like this, and this goes at the bottom of the gusset like that. This means now we have to spray glue on the lip outside and then on the lip inside and down. And now we're gonna start from here, of course, because that determines where we start. And now we can put this back on. Now here there are holes for the soft top and for the hard top, for that matter, and we're gonna have to transfer them here later, but again I'm gonna just put this temporarily. If you remember, here at the bottom there's this thingy, so I'm just gonna make a cut here and I'm gonna fold this. It's gonna come back out, so we're gonna take care of everything at the end, but I'm gonna do this, and now there's cut here for this hook down there. Okay, like this we're gonna have to work more on, make everything work here at the bottom, but so far so good. So now we're gonna just take the industrial cleaner and we're gonna clean the glue that we oversprayed everywhere before it's too dry. Okay, the other side is installed as well. Now the rest should be easy. We have the pieces over here. We have 1, 2, 3 pieces of carpet. Of course, for the front one we need the transmission cover, which we don't want to put on yet because I want to test drive the car. Here we're missing the cardboard or whatever. I don't know what the material is that covers here, so we're gonna have to figure out something for there. But before we even install that piece anyways, we're gonna have to assemble the e-brake, so let me do that. Okay, so I found the e-brake handle, which John painted a long time ago, but I don't know what happened here. The paint is just deteriorating, so we're gonna have to repaint it. But also I couldn't find any of the hardware. I have this which goes in the back here to attach to the cables, but I don't have the bolt that goes through and attaches it to the car, and also I don't think I have the button that attaches to this stop here. So I found this other e-brake again in John's parts. We can use the button and the spring, but we still don't have the bolt that goes through here, and I believe there were some bushings also here. I don't remember, but looks like we're gonna have to make whatever we need. Okay, so I repainted the handle, took all the parts from this one, the internals. I mean, the little thing is still here inside, so that's all we need. And now I'm looking at the bolt and the bushings here on the Most Motors website, and it looks like we have these bushings that go around and we have a bolt that goes through, but the stem of the bolt is a little bit wider than the threads, so when the nut is tightened all the way, it doesn't put tension on the bushings. You see how here this hole is bigger than this, so if I machine this bolt to go all the way in like this and make from here where the threads start, we're gonna reduce the diameter so it can go through this hole, and we're gonna make threads, of course. And when it's tightened all the way, it's not gonna squeeze these two parts together. So let's make that. And also these bushings, if I remember well, they were plastic and they get worn, so I'm gonna make them out of brass. Okay, so now with the e-brake done and functional, we can continue with our carpet situation here, which meanwhile improved a little bit because John found in his garage this piece that actually came off of here. And it even has the light here. I have the light on my bench. I took it apart because it wasn't working. Still not working, so we're gonna have to fix it together. But also he wants me to use this piece as it is. I don't need to rewrap it because this carpet is not great, obviously. It was homemade somewhere, so he wants to use it temporarily until next summer, maybe, when he's gonna buy a new good set of carpet, and he's just gonna use this as underpad. He's gonna put the new carpet on top of this one. So for here, he's okay with me using this carpet. That's why we're gonna just do a little repair here. We're just gonna glue a piece of vinyl inside to cover this hole, and we're gonna have to fix this light because it doesn't work. And we have the wiring for it here. I believe one is permanent ground, one is permanent power, and the third one is ground through a switch on the door. So when you open the door, you get ground there. So the light had a burnt bulb, and I changed it, and I thought that was the problem, but it's not the only problem. So it has a switch that should turn it on and off anytime, even with the ignition off. But also with the switch in the off position, it should still come on when you open the door. For this reason, we have permanent power on one side on the purple, and then here on the purple with black we have ground through the switch on the door. So once we touch ground there, doesn't matter of the position of the switch, the light is gonna come on. And then we have a permanent ground as well here that goes through the switch. You see, it goes on one side of the switch and then it goes to the other side of the bulb, but the switch doesn't connect it. So I'm troubleshooting to see where the problem is, whether it's in the wire or inside the switch, or maybe on this side it's not making good contact. So if I touch on this side of the switch, still doesn't work. Doesn't matter of the position of the switch. Oh, now it started working. So it's not the switch. So it's probably this solder here, because when we bypass the wire, it works. So our problem is here. I was gonna take apart the switch, but it's not there. Okay, I put a big blob of solder on this side as well. I don't trust this side, so soldered it nicely, and now it works just fine. So permanent power, permanent ground, and I'm gonna make a bypass. This is gonna act as a switch, as the door switch. So now we only have permanent power and permanent ground here. So the switch now works, but even in the off position, if we open the door, the light comes on, the light comes off. So John, just don't forget the switch in the on position. Okay, now we can assemble it. This is the lens. Doesn't look great, but it's just old. It's pitted, but it's between the seats. I know they make reproduction ones, but they're so bad and they're even worse than this. So I'm gonna clean it up. We're gonna install it, actually. First the base goes, and then the top, and then we're gonna continue with the carpet. All right, the light is assembled, and I installed this piece in place, and the light works from here, from the switch. These switches here are still not installed on the doors, and I don't even know. I'm gonna talk to John and see if he wants me to install them, because that's really annoying to have to keep in mind all the time whether your door is left open. You know, sometimes when you work on the car and you leave the door open, and that drains your battery. So we will see if we're gonna install these or not. So what's next? Yeah, along with this piece, John brought also some leftover carpet that he had. I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere in this pile. So we're gonna cut a piece. We're gonna lift this. Remember, we didn't glue it completely. And we're gonna cover that hump. And then we're gonna continue with the rest of the carpet. Ta-da! The rear shelf, whatever you wanna call it, is complete. Carpet-wise, but we still have to go buy screws. I keep forgetting to buy screws for here. And we will see. I was thinking to shorten this, but actually it's not too bad, so maybe that's how we're gonna leave it. We're gonna have to bring out the, what is it called, like a plate that goes here for the soft top, and see how that's gonna fit. But we're gonna leave that. We're gonna continue with the carpet. And I already put this piece here. It's not glued. I just wanted to see how it fits. And we're gonna have to transfer the hose for the seats, and it's not gonna be super easy, so I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. We also have there a hole for the seat belt, and we have on this side a hook for the seat belt. So I think we are ready to install this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray glue there, and after I spray the glue, I'm gonna put the hardware for the seats in place, and I'm gonna leave it sticking out maybe just quarter inch or half inch, and then we're gonna glue this piece on top, and we're gonna cut across right on top of each bolt, and we're gonna undo the hardware. This way it's gonna be easy to transfer it, I believe, I hope. We will see. Okay, that actually worked pretty well. Now what bothers me is that there, normally when I make my own carpet, I leave this piece of carpet longer than the cardboard, and I just let it float here underneath, and then I cover the edge with this one. It's not such a big deal, nobody's gonna see it there, but whatever. But again, I don't know if I mentioned that this is not a permanent carpet for here. This is actually the under carpet for John. That I'm sure is gonna answer one of your other questions, why I don't use under padding here. Because I don't know if I mentioned that, but John would like to purchase or make a new set of carpet that is pretty good, because this one is obviously not very well made. He paid some $100 to make it. He's just gonna use this one as an under padding, and he's gonna glue the new one on top, and that's it. But for now, that's how it's gonna be. Maybe next summer he's gonna take care of that himself. So anyway, and about gluing, I know that's a big question for everybody. What happens if the car gets flooded? Well, if it gets flooded, you take a shop vac and you vacuum it. That's how you deal with it. It's much more convenient, the carpet, to be glued and stuck in place than having the possibility eventually, once in a lifetime, to take it out so you can drain or dry the car if it gets rained on. I'd rather have my carpet glued down than having it move all the time on me and having to use Velcro or stuff. Anyway, I ran out of glue completely, and now I'm down to my 3M Super 77, which I don't really like. Look what it does. It sprays dust all over the place. And we're gonna clean that. We have the adhesive cleaner, so we're gonna clean it, but with other glues that didn't happen. Anyway, I'm gonna continue. I think I'm gonna do the rest on my own, and I'll bring you back when it's completely done. I mean, we're not gonna do the transmission cover yet, because we wanna take the car on a test drive first, now that we have a windshield, before we cover the transmission permanently. So most of the carpeting is installed. There's still these two pieces on the side, kick panels, whatever they're called, that need to be wrapped. So John brought the old ones, and he brought me this so I can rewrap them. But I'm not happy with the glue that I have, so I have to buy new glue. And we still have more carpeting to do after on the transmission cover, so I think that's where we're gonna stop with the carpet. And before I install the seats and make it very uncomfortable to lay on my back here, I'm gonna finish everything under the dash. And by everything under the dash, I mean the air ducts that go to the two sides of the dash and the glove box. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that now. Well, it's been more than 40 minutes of your life that I can't give you back, so I'm gonna stop with this video here. But I can give you something as a reward for these 42 minutes or whatever. And the reward is gonna be, I'm gonna show you the car as it is a few days later. I've done a lot of work on it, so it is almost complete now. I have a short list that I still need to complete. Well, short list with big items, but whatever. Anyways, the car is pretty well assembled. I'm not gonna show you way too much, so I can keep you interested and you keep watching the next few episodes that are remaining of this series. After 7-8 years, I don't know how long, we're approaching the end of this restoration. So anyways, I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. Thank you for watching, commenting, subscribing, sharing, supporting the channel in all the different ways that you find to support me. I really appreciate it. If you are interested, there are links in the description of this video with ways to support the channel. Anyways, thank you again. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.